Good morning. My name is Jay Ashborne, and welcome to the channel. This is me covering the Warpforge balance patch we got yesterday. This came at about 10 a.m. EST, and definitely unexpected. We're going to be covering all of it and some pretty opinionated thoughts, so hopefully you're tuned in and not scared off by the intimidating words. Faith and Flame shall purge his enemies in the new balance update. Probably so. First of all, in uncategorized. This is the first problem I have with this post. Why is this not put into update patches? Why is there not a section for this? We should be able to see balance changes. Um, and something else I would like to touch on about the Warpforge website, which we will get to later. It's very interesting. This month's balance patch update is now live. Adeptus Sororitas receive a myriad of changes. Least represented orc warlords also receive improvements, and some of the beasts are getting some love in this patch. Here we have this Dominion right here on the front. Got some changes itself. All right, Goth Orcs. Starting off, increased health from 35 to 40. The vast variance of these changes say no one played this warlord, and they still probably won't. Is it a buff? Sure. You might, somebody might, I guess. Uch Choppa. Increased the healing effect by 1. This is crazy to me. Not that it is like a super broken effect. I feel that this might be enabling a new archetype. That is so weird for me to say. When you think of the vast majority of people that play orcs, I think of smooth brain players that are just trying to go face. You rarely see people play like that mid-range orc, weird boy combo turn, or anything like that. A lot of it is just smork, I'm going face, here's my damage, I'm going to play grots and trade them off, and my shooters are going to ping you for each unit that trades. That's the kind of gameplay I see with orcs. This heal 3, what does that say? It says that I want to control board with my warlord talent and get some recovery so I'm not constantly losing health. The only other two warlords I can really think of that have um, talents, or maybe three, I guess Varro's in there too. I can think of like Erica and Galaron. These are heroes that try to control the board with their talents. Is this like trying to enable orc control? Is that what we're getting? GW orc control? I don't know. I'm curious. It's a really weird direction to push. I'm not complaining. It's unique. Um, Beast Snagaboy added a new rally effect. If you control the beast, gain 1 melee. They are really pushing for this beast love. I think this archetype was severely underplayed, so I think this is fine. Beast Snaganob, increased ranged 1 to 2. Okay, that's fine. Knob on a squig, 5 to 6 melee. Sure. Snakebite Knob, health 4 to 5. All these changes are on units that I don't believe saw a lot of play. I don't think these are like huge changes. This is trying to enable that beast archetype, which we've yet to see really come to fruition in like legend gameplay and stuff like that. Um, I don't think any of these changes are bad. However, this does enable something different in a smaller sense, not direct changes. These are all changes to beasts, right? So there's a card in Orc that it has, what is it? Mob. When you melee attack with a unit, create a random beast in your hand. Is this trying to push towards like a late game value beast engine? All the beasts you're now getting are buffed, so they're worth playing. And if they're created by value, you're not spending cards on them. Is this like a control Orc kind of thing I'm saying here? I don't know. A lot of these changes feel like they're so insignificant or to units that we're never seeing play that it just doesn't matter. Killrig increased rally damage by 1. Yeah, that's fine. It wasn't extremely well positioned before. I think it was okay before. Snakebite Battle Wagon increased health from 10 to 11. That is a lot, but will it see play? I'd still think probably not. Overall orc changes are just very meh. Eh, they could have received some more love, I think. I'm not complaining about the changes, but I don't think they're extremely positioned to change anything meta-wise. Um, sorry, orc boys. Maybe not, maybe not this patch. Gene Stealer cults. Oh boy. Safa got a change. Woo! Can we all pray for that? We all wanted this, right? This is what we wanted. Less Safa uprising, less combo deck. Um, Again, this feels like GW is pushing out of control, out of aggro. We don't want you to play these face decks. We don't want you to play these decks that combo kill your opponents in a single turn. We want you to trade troops. We want you to fight for board. Um, we want damage in combat. We don't want you to be comboing your opponent out or aggroing them down. We want that mid-game trading. All right, so what is this? What do these changes entail? A lot of these people in chat yesterday were popping off saying, "Oh, Safa got nerfed. It was well needed." Do you know what you're talking about? Like, Safa was good. Definitely A tier, A plus tier deck. I think it was above a lot of the other things. I would say probably third best deck in the meta, in my opinion, pre-patch. Um, I think control decks and mid-range decks that curved out well could have outshined it and curved out before Safa got her combo turn. I think some of those decks, like Varo Codex or Imhotep Control, these decks, even like some variants of Erica midrange, could have definitely provided a game state to where the Safa combo turn did not kill them. So let's look at these changes and see. We got a change to the Warlord talent here. No longer heals your Warlord. Change description. Ephemeral. Choose one. Dry troop, dry stratagem, or heal one to your troops. Okay, so yes, this is definitely a negative. I think you will have 5 to 6 less life on your combo turn, and that's about all this equates to. Now, is 5 or 6 life incidental? No, you could definitely lose the game. That is a thing. You could definitely lose the game because you have 5 or 6 less life. Do I think this is a be all end all for Saphodex? Absolutely not. This minor setback, you might have to be a little bit more careful on the units you're knocking to reduce costs in your hand. So I think this change is pretty meh. Next one. This one's huge. Metamorph Leader. And this is the one everyone was freaking out about. Lowered melee from 6 to 3. Lowered ranged from 6 to 4. This unit used to be massive. It was 6 costed, and now we're lowering the health on it from 6 to 5. Oh no, the unit we played to have our uprising turn has been nerfed. So to understand what these changes entail, we have to kind of understand what the Safa Uprising deck was trying to do and what their combo turns looked like. So throughout your game, you would find the legendary Living Icon, which enables strike on your Warlord, reduce the cost of a troop in your hand by 1. So all game long, you'll be trading or hitting with your Warlord, running into things with your face to take damage, to lower the cost of troops in your hand. Sometimes these attacks were not good, but you would have to do this to enable your combo turns. Again, now, since the talent has been changed, you'll be getting less healing, so that may become a little bit harder to do. However, on your combo turn, you would be leading with something like Infestation to reduce all the troops you play this turn by some amount, following it up by a reduced cost Metamorph Leader that you have reduced the cost of in your hand. Then, since Metamorph Leader provides a reduced cost by 1, and Infestation provides a reduced cost by 1, you would flood the board with Neophytes, triggering Uprising 10 times maybe, sometimes triggering, or at least 7 times, triggering Uprising, sometimes giving units flank, trading them off, and triggering Uprising additional times. The following turn, all of your troops would have got an additional +8 melee. You would swing out and kill. That is what your combo turn looked like. So what does this say? This says you will have 3 less damage on your combo turn, is what I'm reading. That's what this equates to. The combo turn is still effective. If you were wanting to nerf this card because Safa Uprising was a strong deck, peck the energy. Take this card to 8. Take it to 7 at least. You wanted to nerf this deck, hit the energy cost. The melee and range damage is incidental. The health, meh. That could be, say, this troop might get traded off with. You might lose this initial troop, but the majority other of your neophytes that tag the ground are still going to have +6, +8 melee. You're still swinging with 7 or 8 troops that are buffed. Like, this deck is still good. I don't know what anyone was thinking. I think this deck will still be good at the end of next season's meta report. I don't think this changes nearly anything about this deck. Wow. Like, GW, do you understand what you're doing? Like, what's the card game here? Like, do you understand how this deck operates? Or you just think, oh, Safa's doing well. Let's nerf Safa. Every deck's running, Metamorph Leader. Oh, we gotta nerf the stats on that card. No, it doesn't matter the stats on this card. The turn this comes down, all your other units are pumped. Use flank on a couple of troops to trade them off, and then you have an unwinnable board position that you can't lose. The next turn you swing out and kill. The stats on this troop don't matter. It's the uprising effect that's so busted. Jesus, man. It's like they don't even understand their game sometimes. Anyway, I don't think Safa Uprising is going to change at all. I think it will remain a top deck. We will still probably see it in the top 6 decks of next season's meta report. Emperor's Children. And this is where I have my second issue with the GW Warpforge website. And probably why I'll never be listed as a creator. If you go to the sections and go to the cards from the GW website, and you go to cards, you'll be able to pick which cards to look at by faction. However, Emperor's Children is not in that list. So if you were wanting to know what Duelist Hubris was and you had to use the website to do it, good luck finding it. Also, try searching that on Google. You will find absolutely nothing. Maybe if you specifically typed Warlord Talent with Lucius the Eternal, but I mean, you would have to know, like, it doesn't list that anywhere in this setting. It just says Duelist Hubris, Lucius's Talent. You really, like, it's not on their website. That's a problem. Put this on your website, GW. I have issues. All right. When it comes to the changes on Lucius, this deck was A- aggro deck played last season. Lucius the Eternal being the best performing warlord of the Emperor's Children, probably as it should be, probably the most notable icon outside of Fabius Bile or Fulgrim in that faction. I think this is completely acceptable. So what does this do? The big thing here, Ephemeral, give vulnerable to one random enemy troop, or heal one to your warlord. What did he used to do? Well, it used to be able to target any unit, and I think that's where the problem lies in. While this deck was maybe A tier before, I see this falling pretty hard. And it's not because of that this talent will affect Lucius any less. It's because this gives you one less elixir to play with to trigger stimulation on your units every turn. That seems like a problem. You can no longer use this to trigger stimulation. So, your Infractor Obsessionist, your Velder the Sublime, these cards, you're going to be triggering less shields, less attacks, less debuffs each turn. It's maybe only one from each unit because you're only casting this, you're only casting this talent once, but one less each turn adds up. I feel this is bad, like real bad. I don't think this deck was broken by any means, but again, this all ties back into, it feels like Lucius was like an aggressive, lower end, mid range, top end aggro deck that's curved out at like 5, tried to kill you on turn 7 or 8, probably wanted to be dead. This was a fair and balanced aggro deck, in my opinion. It was sometimes difficult to play against. Sometimes the Effractor and Subsessionist trades with Shield could really get out of control, or maybe the Disharmonist reducing your troops' stats by 2/2 every time you triggered Stimulation. Maybe that was a problem, but I don't know. I don't think this needed debuffs. This deck was fine. Why GW? Why did you mess with Lucius? Ugh. I don't play Emperor's Children. I think they were fine pre-patch. I think we'll be seeing a lot less of them on ladder. I accidentally had the URL on screen there. My bad. Sorry, I fixed it. All right, Adeptus Sororitas. Oh boy. Here we go. As a sister player, I feel that pre-patch, this deck was absolutely fine. Erica midrange, Erica control was a A-tier deck, not busted by any means, somewhat strong, fairly weak in the early game. You had to play for board, you had to somehow win control of board, somehow make it to 3, 7, and eventually 8 faith for your triggers to come off Divine Intervention, your Warlord talent, things like that. I feel this deck was fair and balanced before the meta. Not the strongest deck, not the weakest deck. Definitely A tier. Had a 50.81% win rate from the meta report. I don't think these changes were needed by any means, but here we are. So what got changed? Sacred Altar defense card. So if you go second, not only will you be giving 1 faith to your units for free, you'll be giving half of the effect of the 2 energy prayer card. Prayer being give a faith, gain a shield to a unit. Now basically we are getting a shield for free with the 0 cost defense card, so you are basically gaining 1 energy for free. That's awesome. Probably still not as good as the infantry cost reduction. Playing Adeline on 4 seems pretty solid in my opinion. But yeah, this is still an incredible buff. If you are not at Forge level 41 or 43, whatever it is, to get the troop card, this is definitely a solid addition to your arsenal. You will be using this. This is strong. Holy Fire, another defense card, now also gains faith. So I used to give 2 melee and 1 melee to the adjacent troops. Now it also gives a faith. I don't think this card was ever played. It might see play now. Specifically in a new archetype that I believe may have developed because of some of the changes. So this will be interesting to see what happens. If you are playing second in the Aggro Sisters variant, that I believe is theoretically possible now, maybe it's not as strong as it could be, maybe it would still need some additional buffs to make it actually viable. It looks like this change was interesting, and this is the defense card I think we will see the most upswing from. I think in terms of defense cards, obviously the best one still being the troop cost reduction. I think the second one played was Sacred Altar. I think we will see a slight increase in picks in Sacred Altar, and Holy Fire will go up by a fair amount, I believe. But I still believe that Sacred Altar, for the people that are not at the high Forge level, will be the one that people play. I do believe we'll see increases in all the play, though, so that's good. Dominion. This was a 3-cost card. It was a 2/3 with 4 health, I believe, maybe 3. Had Blast 2. This card was never played. It got a ranged point. I don't expect it to see play now. I guess it is an addition, though. So welcome aboard. Simulacrum Bearer. Change description to Prayer. Give +1 troops and to your Warlord this turn. Yeah, this is neat. This is a 3-cost card that comes down early and buffs your troops. Go wide with Sisters. Seems like it may be interesting. Maybe so. Don't believe this was played before. May see some play now. Hospitaler? Hospitaler? I always said a hospitalizer. Okay, sure. Range change from 2 to 3. That is a buff. This card healed troops that it prayed with. I don't think this will see play. I don't think it saw play before. Interesting change. Retributor. 4-cost card was a 2 melee, 5 ranged damage with 4 health. It used to have Faith 2, deal 3 to a random troop. Now it has Faith 1, deal 3 to a random troop. So what does this say? Okay, so this card was sometimes played in some decks, not a ton. Um, I ran it as a singleton copy. I might be running 2 copies after seeing it this patch. This card enabled you on low faith to start winning back board. On 4, you generally want to be casting your Rhino, casting your Relics, if you don't have 3 faith, casting Relics. If you have 3 faith, casting your Sacred Rose to get your 2 Sacred Rose Sisters with flank and start praying with those immediately. You could be casting your Seraphim, that was now a 5 ranged, 5 health unit with flying on 4. So now Retributor allows you to, with a lower cost faith, come back onto the board. So in boards where you were not winning the board, like on turn 4, if you were not on board, were not at high faith, at 3 faith, at a lower faith requirement, are you able to come back? So no longer at 2 faith, which it was, but even if you've prayed or went second in this case, only once, you will be able to get the additional effect from this troop. So this says in board states where you were not winning, you will have an easier time coming back. Yeah, that card's good now. I like it. I like this card a lot. Sister Superior, increased health from 4 to 5. Meh. This card saw some play, not a lot. I don't think it'll see much change now. Dominion Superior, range change from 5 to 6. This was a very standard common in most high-level Sisters decks. I believe almost everybody ran this. It has Rally, deal 1, 2 faith. If you have 2 faith, deal an additional 1. So this could break shield and ping a unit or deal 2 damage to a unit without a shield. It had 4 melee attack, 5 ranged, and 5 health. Now it has 6 range. So hits a little bit harder. Could close the gaps in some mid games or make trades better. Good. This card it's just a common. I don't think this card's busted. I just think it's a little bit better now. This is the interesting change here. Sister Noviate, health change from 2 to 3. This is a 2 melee, I believe 1 ranged card with, used to have 2 health, so the Warlord could trade and kill it. Now it has 3. This is a 1 energy card that prays and makes a copy of itself. Are we looking at go wide sister meta now? Because playing this 1 costed card, the reason why this card wasn't played before was because you dropped this for 1 energy with an additional 1 costed card like Devout Warriors, or maybe on 3 you played your Preacher and then you played this. This card could just be traded off and killed. It never got a chance to pray. Now that it has 3 health, it might stick around and get a chance to make a copy of itself, and maybe that sister can pray and make a copy of itself. This card's gotten buffed, like, incredibly. Wow. Might see play now. Incredible. This is one of the cards I believe that may enable Sister Aggro. Very interesting change. Hella neat. I like it. What's up next? Battle Sister Gunner. Ranged from 2 to 3. This card prayed and dealt damage to a unit. 2 damage. It didn't see much play before. I believe Sacred Rose Sister is still better in the 2-drop slot. Might see play now. Interesting. Celestian, melee increased from 1 to 2. Awesome. This card was in every sister deck. The basics of sisters, back as BJ coined back in the day, was PPC, Prayer, Preacher, Celestian. If you are not running these, you do not have an early game. That is how sisters operates. And I believe that the Celestian change was unneeded, but very welcomed. I'm not complaining in the least. This card used to be traded off with by melee troops, and you would always be upset that it only dealt 1 damage. Now it does 2. Hell yeah. Awesome. This card was in every sister deck. You're going to be seeing it a lot more. It's definitely stronger than it was before. Awesome. Missionary. Increased health from 4 to 5. Okay. This was a 4-cost card. I could see the 5 back end. Most sisters are thick in the back end. Ayo. Yeah, I think that's fine. But yeah, I think it's okay. Not a huge change. I didn't see much play before. Might see some play now. Canonist, reduced faith requirements by 1. Okay, sweet. This card saw some play. Not a lot to my experience, but saw some. Might see more now. Awesome. Dogmata. Rally can now gain 1 faith if the target dies. Did it not gain 1 faith if the target dies before. I don't necessarily know if I'd want to be I don't know. It seems like it should have already done this before. I have questions about this one. Devout Warriors reduced faith requirement by 1, so now it's a 1 energy, draw a troop, 2 faith, draw an additional troop. Okay, this might be a one of in some mid-range / control decks where you're definitely digging for your late game Exorcist or Triumph of St. Catherine or St. Celestine. You're looking for those cards. This is a way to find them or find additional troops. Just find board presence. I think this is good. A lot of turns you have extra faith or an extra energy, just one. You're an extra energy and you have nothing to do with it. Like you have to play a Dominion Sister on 6 energy and you have 1 left over. Okay, this card might see some play. It saw some play before. I don't think it'll be huge, but definitely a buff. I'm not complaining. Imperial Creed reduced faith requirements by 1. So this card saw some play. Stun 3 energy. Stun 3 enemies. Refill 3 energy if you have 4 or more faith. Yeah. It saw some play. Cleansing Flames, still far better in my opinion. Enables more trading with sisters and stalling time. Might see some more play. I don't know. Blade of Faith. Reduce faith requirement by 1. Deal 3 damage to an enemy troop. 4 faith. Repeat this effect. I don't know that you ever would want to run this card. I don't even know with the faith reduction if this card's even still good. Fun fact about this card. If there's a shield on the enemy unit and you cast this stratagem, it will deal 3 to the it will deal 3 to the enemy shield, check your faith requirement, deal 3 to the shield again, and then the shield will break. It's dumb. I don't like it. Why does that operate the way that does? Yet Erica's Warlord talent reads deal 1, then deal an additional 2. The first ping will break the shield, and the second one hits the unit. Makes no sense. GW, fix your game. Ugh, major complaints. Pick one and roll with it. I don't care which one it does, just pick one and make it consistent. The inconsistency between these two cards and their effects bothers me. Ugh. Sisters was an A tier deck before. I believe some of these changes are going to be better for the lower end curve sister players, your 1500 and less skull sister players in Legend, or even lower ranks might see some increased win rates. At high Legend, I think a lot of these cards outside of Celestian and Dominion Superior aren't being ran. Even the defense cards aren't being ran at higher ranks because players are committed if they are playing this deck. I think this will mainly affect, like I said, the 1500 and less skull legend ranks, and the lower end metas that are not legend. Are you going to be seeing more sisters on ladder? Yes, a lot. Everybody sees this and sees, sisters buffs. They're all buffed. No cards have been changed. What they don't realize is that this is not the 7 legendaries required to put in your competitive sisters deck, and a lot of the epics and the rares that you're running in your competitive sisters deck is not touched. These are all commons. A lot of these cards aren't even played. It might enable a new archetype, but I don't believe that the Erica mid-range decks are going to get that much stronger. It had, like I said, was 50.81 at the end of last season, according to the meta report. Again, that's a subject I have another opinion on. But it was an A-tier deck before. I believe it will still be an A-tier deck. However, I do believe that the win rate may be a bit inflated because the amount of people playing sisters now that the buffs have been released. If anything, there will be more sister players. It is going to swing by about 1% up or down. And the reason why is because of this. You will either have inexperienced players going with sisters and these lower-ended cards to ladder and losing because they're inexperienced sister players, or you will have higher win rates out of sisters because there are so many more people playing this archetype. It'll be a swing by about 1% either way. I don't feel for the high end of Legend, if you're 1500 skulls or above, or if you're competing for ladder or top 50 rank, I don't think you're going to see much change. It is slightly better. You might fight a little bit harder for board. You might lose a unit or two trading off to Celestian or a Dominion Superior trading into you. But other than that, I don't think you're going to see a lot of changes out of Sisters. The deck basically plays the same. None of these cards are remotely touched. So anyway, just my 2 cents. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow we're hopping back into ladder gameplay. I'm currently sitting at about 600 ladder points, so hopefully to 3K by the end of this season, and I will continue to provide you with content. Thank you for tuning in. It's been nice. Hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Later.